It's not a feminist play. So don't be thinking because it's about women and it's saying things about women and showing women having a bad life that it's a feminist play. Feminism was not around in those days. Okay? Pardon? What was then? When women were subjugated and no one thought anything of it. Okay? They were treated like trash is their summary. Okay. So there are the women of Corinth and there is Medea, but the two are different, and it's really important that we understand the actual history in that particular time so that we understand the depth of her despair. If we're saying that where was so Medea wasn't from Corinth, no? No. So she was a foreigner, and she was actually very poorly mistreated because she came from somewhere else. Okay? And we see some examples of that in our current society, yes? Yep, okay. Who can think of a politician who really uses that particular idea that people who don't come from Australia are somehow more evil, or we should be more scared of them, they're going to kill us? Pauline Hanson, yes? And so... The red, yes. So if we think about how, and some people said to me last year, oh, if I was Medea, I would just get over it. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. You know, but then when we put it into our modern time, if you are constantly told you don't belong, you're not good enough, you can't be here, how does that make you feel? You don't feel like you belong. You don't have friends. You don't have those connections. There are issues there. And you've made friends with some other people who may also be ostracized in a similar way, but you're not really connecting with the people who are there. The other issue is if you can't go back where you came from. Yes? So if you really hate let's use a modern example. If you have come from another country and you're here now and you go, oh, I don't belong here, I'll just go home. There are some people who can't do that because home is no longer there. It's actually obliterated. It has been removed. Or there are processes in place, meaning that if you go there, you will be injured or killed or harmed. Yes? So it's not as simply as going, oh, well, people here don't like me, I'm just going to rush home. Yes?
Is this like refugees and stuff like that?
It could be like, yeah, most refugees. The reason why they're refugees is because there's a problem where they've come from, and they would be there if there was no problem. They loved their country, but the only reason they're here is because there were problems there. Okay? Medea, she sort of was a refugee, but the reason why she can't go back home is because she killed her brother and chopped him into quite a number of pieces and dropped them in the ocean for her father to pick up. And her father is a bit cross about that. And sorry?
So that's why she hates Jason so much towards the end. Because like she did that for him and then
yes. And so that's the thing. She did that for Jason, and he, in doing that, they've exchanged this sort of vow, not just I'll be married to you forever, but if you do this, if you kill your brother and annoy your dad so much, if you essentially sever yourself from your family, I will now be your family. I will be all you have. Oh, but I found someone nicer, prettier, someone who can give me better social status. Oh, well, you can just leave now. You're exiled. And so if she's exiled, so let's say if you're a refugee or if you're kicked out of this country, can you just go back where you came from? No. Could she go back where she came from? No. So she had nowhere to go. And that was where lots of her anger came from, because it wasn't as simply as, oh, she's just been kicked out or he's just got a new wife. She has been so betrayed because she did this for him and now he's not repaying that favour.
Wait, was this in the book or was that background information?
That was, some of it's background information, some of it is in the play. Okay, so her anger is definitely in the play. The fact that she did this killing prior is in the background. And the background is alluded to in the opening of the play when the nurse talks about how worried she is about Medea. Oh, I'm really worried about her. She's done this when she used to do that. If only she never did this. If only she never met Jason. If only she never did all these things, she wouldn't be in this particular situation. So that's going under the expectation that you already know that background. Okay? So that is part, it's really important that you just don't go, and there are some people last year, and you can try and argue this if you like, but there might not be enough evidence in the play for you to argue this position, that Euripides is just giving all men a warning about women because women are clearly nuts. Okay? And so you can have that opinion if you like, but is that really what Euripides was saying, that women are nuts? We need to get rid of women. You're lucky if you get out of a relationship with a woman alive. Women are nuts. Or is it something a bit bigger than that? And that's what we're going to be exploring. Okay, pop onto Compass and open up the notes that say tragedy notes.
Would you say that they're like both very dead to each other? And then because like she isn't dead to him because like he kind of like gave her a better life and better husband, but he's dead because she was not.
Yeah, exactly. And the issue with this, we've just been talking to Taylor about who owes whom what. With these characters, there's no good and evil. There's no like, oh, they're the good character, they're the bad character. It's really easy to see whose side we should be on. Sometimes we're like, okay, Jason, you've got a point there. Actually, no, Medea, you've got a point there. Oh, ooh, ah, okay? And that is the whole point. We are actually torn a little bit with whose side we're on at what point. And that's what Euripides was actually trying to do, to make people question things about how they're feeling. Sia, did you have a question? Okay. All right, so everybody's got that particular document open? Tragedy notes.
Why is it freezing?
You can turn the air conditioner off or down. Pardon? I'm not sure. I have to look it up.
So is that the real full cycle?
This semester, or
Like
5?
One on Medea,
One on White Tiger, one on language you've done. You've got to do an oral presentation, so that's,
and then like
and then a comparison. Yeah, so that's 5.
You've got this like where it says the chorus or not visual.
Oh, oral means sound.
Oh, okay.
So their function was to elevate sound, so that they weren't there to. So they look so interesting that you watch them the whole time. They speak in unison.
And what's the most famous relics? That's very confusing.
Relics is left like heirlooms and stuff like that. So old stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mr. We have like 2 months to learn stuff.
I think because we have the holidays in between, so you've got the 3 weeks here, and then I think it's 2 or 3 weeks after the school holidays, but you've got the school holidays in between. So I think it's a 5 or a 6 week unit, but we don't count the holidays. So technically it's 8. Yeah.
we're going to be getting a lot of holiday homework.
Yep.
We're going to Thailand. I want to do it.
You'll just be lounging on the pool, reading your holiday homework. Emailing your teacher. They have internet in Thailand. Oh my God.
What?
I just heard the question, do they even have the internet in Thailand? It's a bit like when I used to go to Tasmania to visit my cousins, and they would say things like, do you have knives and forks in Melbourne? Yes, we do. It's not that far removed, you know, because we're over the seas. We're suddenly barbarians who don't have knives and forks. So obviously the Taiwanese, I was going to call them, the Thai are not barbarians. They have knives and forks, and they also have, interestingly enough, internet. Probably is faster than ours, but don't get me started on discussing why ours is slow. I don't know. I'm sure they have them there. How do they cut up their meat? To cook it. That's a cleaver. It's... Okay. Is that a rule? We're going to look it up. Okay. Is anyone here from Thailand can confirm that knives and forks are banned? Okay. I feel like we're on a tangent that is irrelevant to our lives. Let's... Exactly, because Aiden is arguing that they're banned in Thailand.
No, I didn't say they're banned. I said you're not allowed to analyse.
Okay. All right. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. We can argue about it later on. And here, let's look at the sheet. Yes? I would like you now to spend about 3 or 4 minutes reading the first bit where it says Greek tragedy and stop where it says a structure of Greek tragedy. So just read the first bit, and I would like you to make notes or highlight or whatever it is, things you're not really quite understanding. So as you read it, you go, don't understand that, going to have to ask a question about that, something, anything like that. You're reading it, and what do you understand? So the Greek tragedy notes.
Just read this bit and then you stop there. So we'll just read this one.
Does everyone know how to add notes in Word? Yes? Can you guys see the notes? Write a note. Alright, some people are discussing the wrong thing.
You get up that bit too.
It's restricted.
I think Mum buttered it too.
Oh yeah, delicious. King one butter. CO, what's your email address? Oh, Ivana282000. Yeah. Okay. All right, once you have worked out what you think things mean with your partner, discuss what does the first sentence mean, what does the second sentence mean, what does the third sentence mean. Okay, Ivana, it's sent.
Okay, so like
What'd you say?
the inspiration is bad to have. You know when people in movies like look out windows and they're like, okay.
When will my husband return?
That is cool.
I'm going to explain all that in a minute. Yeah.
So,
I thought the paradoxes on that picture of like the light,
Yep.
I guess, of the thing, wasn't paradox the things next to the stage?
It was saying it was a place, but I think it's also where they can move through for it.
Then why are they chanting the paradox?
Why they're chanting it?
Yes.
Because that they're working together to do that. So that's because the chorus is doing that.
So then, as in, the chanting to like move the place forward? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's look at here. Tragedy has a characteristic structure in which the scenes of dialogue alternate with choral songs. What does that mean? Daniel, what does that mean?
It's like people talking, so like Medea and Jason will talk, but then the chorus will sing
Something.
rhyming.
Yeah. Okay. And the song will be commenting on the event that has just happened, or yes, society, or something that's coming up. So it'll be somehow giving you extra information for this play. Okay? The choral songs. Yep. Sometimes they're called choral odes or choral odes. O-D-E-S, odes. Okay? So if you see the word choral odes, it's not different to choral songs, it's the same. Okay? This arrangement allows the chorus to comment in its song in a general way on what has been said or done in the preceding scene. What does that mean, please, Jason? Just a minute. Shh. What does it mean? Just 1 second. There's at least 7 of you chatting. Jason is explaining what the second sentence means. Okay, go.
So the chorus is acting as the women, they'd be interpreting the way the women are posed.
So they're in their character and they're interpreting the particular events from that point of view. Yes, good. Sentence 3. Most tragedies begin with an opening scene of expository dialogue or monologue called a prologue. Lots of ogs there. Now, if you have studied Shakespeare, which I think you have all been exposed to Shakespeare sometime in Year 10, they often have prologues, which is that opening scene. What does that prologue do? It introduces, gives you background information, gives you a bit of the plot, it gives you information that you need to have, yes? So expository dialogue, expository text. What's expository? If you're writing an expository piece, you're informing or explaining. Dialogue is talk, yes? Dialogue between two. Dialogue, dia, yes? And monologue, or meaning one person just talking out loud, okay? One person talking out loud, we call what now?
Crazy.
Not crazy. And Shakespeare used this for his characters quite a lot because we are not inside their heads. So when they speak out loud, so if, let's say I'm thinking thoughts now, if I suddenly started talking, oh, and why aren't they answering my question? You would actually think I was a bit bonkers. But we're talking to yourself. But on those soapies, sometimes Bold and the Beautiful is a classic example where they got this. Should I go to her, or should I wait here? And they would never say it out loud. It's in their head, but they're saying it out loud. Soliloquy. Soliloquy.
Is that just like a
Wait, so they actually speaking it or they're not?
No, they actually are speaking it out loud because
Because you don't know what's going on.
we don't know what's going on in their head. In movies now, the character's mouth wouldn't be moving. We would hear them speaking and we just know that's the voice in their head. Yes?
How do you spell that? So what's that from? What's that part of?
So here the third sentence where it says expository dialogue or monologue called a prologue. If you're talking out loud to yourself and you're, oh, I wonder if this is going to cause this. I wonder what happens here. We call that a soliloquy in a play. S-O-L-I-L-O-Q-U-Y.
So that's just like talking to yourself about thoughts that the audience is hearing.
So it's so the audience can hear your thoughts.
What's dialogue again?
Dialogue is two people having conversation. Okay, after the prologue, So who is doing this dialogue or monologue in the play we're studying? The nurse. So is it a dialogue or a monologue? A monologue, because she's by herself. Okay? Can we hear another character during that monologue? Yeah, okay, go.
Can it be, can something be a monologue as well as...
Yes, it could be, but the thing is, you wouldn't hear it, so it can't really... You might just get up and do a monologue, so the whole play could be a monologue, where you're just saying your thoughts out loud. Okay? But when they're speaking so the audience can hear, but they're not acknowledging the audience, it's called a soliloquy. Sometimes in Shakespeare's plays, he would speak to the audience and acknowledge them, so he would be including them in, hey, what about this? What do you think? And he would include them, and that's an aside.
Do they do like, sometimes when they like look to the audience, is that like an example of them going to monologue? So they'll be in a conversation with someone, then they'll look to the audience.
If they're looking to the audience, that's an aside, where they're trying to engage, bring the audience as a character on the stage.
So like breaking the fourth wall.
Breaking the what? Breaking what? Fourth law of what? Fourth.
Wall. Like the wall.
Have you ever heard of it?
No, I don't know what you're talking about with fourth wall.
Basically like an aspect, say someone's acting in movies and they can speak to an audience through the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the aspect.
Okay, I've not seen Deadpool, so maybe I should, so I understand what you're talking about. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. After the prologue, so after this opening bunch of information, the chorus marches into the orchestra chanting the parados. So this is basically their first choral ode, the first time they speak to you. And they come in from stage left. Enter stage left. Okay?
Is it important to know where...
No, enter stage, not into, enter. Sorry?
Is it important to know where they came onto stage?
Yes, it is. Parados is a word you will need to use in your essay. Okay?
So it's their first.
It's the first time they're communicating something. Yeah. All right. Then, yes?
Do they like speak to the audience, or is it just
No, they're just
speaking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so what's paradox?
It's the first time the chorus speaks. That's when they're their first lines. And often it could just be them coming and saying, hello, we're here, and they don't seem to be speaking to anyone particular. Sometimes they are speaking to a particular character. Okay? It depends. Okay, then follows a scene of dialogue, meaning characters are acting out something, called an episode. Okay, so we have the chorus, then some acting. Chorus, acting, chorus, acting. It goes into pattern of A, B, A, B, A, B. Yes? The first time the chorus, we see them, is called the parados. Then we have an episode. Really simple answer to this one. What's the first episode called? The first episode. Okay, not a pilot, first episode. Okay. The episode is followed by the first stasimon, which is when the chorus is speaking again. Okay, we call the chorus speaking what, please, CO?
Chorus speaking is the
Stasimon. Yes. The first time they talk is parados. After that, stasimon. Okay. After which there is a final scene, so it then goes parados, episode, stasimon, episode, stasimon, episode. Can everyone see a pattern? Yes? Then the final scene is called an exodus. Who here has been to church, read the Bible?
Just means
You should recognize the word exodus. Yes, and it means they're leaving, they're exiting. Okay? The exodus is in general a scene of dialogue. So it is discussion, and the Exodus is where they're trying to wrap everything up and say, see, this is the lesson you should have learned. This is sort of like the moral of the story is such and such and such. They do not say, though, the moral of the story is such and such and such. You have to work out what that moral of the story is.